on cardstock on my computer and just stitched on. Sometimes I hand stitch it, sometimes I sew it on by the machine. So I want to run through these things and give you some idea of what they're like. This little seashell one is so sweet. My sister did the cross stitch and I embellished it, and it'll be a gift for our other sister. Here's a large one done with a commercial fabric, and I love the sentiment. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a worrier, and that's a good reminder for me. I put a pocket on the back, even though it's quite large. I'm also going to put a loop of ribbon so it can be hung up. That'd make a nice gift. These things do make nice gifts. Live every day with intention. Some of these sentiments, I guess you choose what's appropriate for you. I'm trying to live in the moment and live with a plan in mind and not just be floating along. Okay, here's some little ones. I'll tell you how this one was made and give you some idea of how I put these things together. I stamped a leaf on a piece of fabric and colored it in with markers, and then laid it on my foundation, and then overlaid it with a layer of tulle and all these other embellishments that you see. These things are all paper. This I stamped on fabric and stitched it on, although I don't usually do that much anymore. This little embroidery is there. That was quite a find for me at the thrift store. It's on a very thin layer of nylon or rayon or polyester or something. And it was curtain valances, and the whole things were nothing but swirlies and leaves. You gotta love those. Here's the pocket on the back of that one, just so you get the idea. Rubber stamp with snippets of lace and fringy yarn and all kinds of things. Little one, butterfly, rubber stamp. This was all rubber stamps. So let me turn that. That's supposed to be that way. Okay, very simple, but you can use up snippets of anything you've got. Rubber stamp and some more of that embroidery. The sentiment, excuse me, I stamped it with alphabet rubber stamps. I just stamped it on taffeta ribbon and then stitched it on. This little shoe, I've been making a lot of shoes and feathers for another project, so I thought, oh man, I can put some of those on these. Much smaller ones, of course. The other ones I'm making for journals are quite large. All right, let's go through these quick so you can see them and maybe get some ideas for yourself, and then I'll show you how I put them together. These prints are Susan Wingett, the birds. I love Susan Wingett art. And you can see this one clearly. Look, nothing but a few scraps of yarn and lace, and just stitch them on. Put these two little ones together. Another leaf I colored myself. Again, stamped on taffeta ribbon. You know, that cheap ribbon that florists use. I came across 6 rolls of it from the thrift store. Same thing here. Hey, here's another one of my shoes and a feather. They're highlighted around the edge with distress inks. Love those things. Tim Holtz distress inks. Don't ever throw anything away. This is, it says with love. It's a candy wrapper off of a box of candy. Fit in well there. Rubber stamp. Another rubber stamp. And another one. And this is a little bit larger. My favorite one because of the color. I love chartreuse. The bird, I cut out my own birds and a couple of my little feathers. Those were printed on music sheets, but a lot of them are just done with patterned paper. Show you the pocket. This one has a lace pocket. I think that's Susan Wingett again, or I don't know. That might be a Tim Coffey. I cannot remember who's. It's a designer print of some kind. Somebody's. I guess the country is still in me. I like these chicken things. That says perk up with coffee pot. And this one, you have mail. Wouldn't that be cute as a gift? Because you put your gift card or money card or whatever that is that you want in the back. And then give it. And of course they do have mail. Put a little hint in there. So I made a bunch of these demonstrated at my quilt group a couple years ago, and I told them this was it is a messy procedure because I have a basket of lace, a basket of old linens, a basket of sentiments, a basket of ribbon, a basket of what am I trying to say? Batting. I've got that all around me within reach, and then of course all my colored threads and things. But let me show you quick how I put these together in case you want to attempt some of your own. They are so simple, and look how sweet they are. Now here's some that are not done. I wanted you to see them in this stage. So this one is just bare bones so far. Let's get this over here. And that's how it starts. So I have a foundation here, just a piece of sheeting. I use whatever scraps of white I have, and God knows I have plenty. And this would normally be batting, but in this case, it's some white felt because I got a great big bunch of it at the thrift store, and I thought, man, that would work just like batting, and since it's not going to be washed, of course it's polyester felt anyway. It doesn't matter, it's not going to shrink. Real felt is wool, but this is certainly not. And this is just how it starts. Now what I'll do is, let me show you another one, and I'll show you, this one's bare bones too. That now I'll start adding snippets of lace and ribbon and yarn onto the front, wherever I want to accent my creation. And then on the back, I'll lay a big piece of lace, or turn these back a little bit and put some smidgens of lace coming out around the edges. The more kinds of lace you get at once, the better, because, let me adjust this camera just a little bit, because all those different textures add to the personality of it. This one's just barely started, and under here, a piece of an old dresser scarf that I found at the thrift store, and I left it on as part of the backing, and then when I put my pocket on, I'll leave some of that show as well. So that's how they begin to come together. Now here's one that I started layering the lace. I wanted something more wintry and maybe to slip a Christmas gift in, and that certainly has it right there, red and green. I mean, it doesn't have anything Christmas about it, but that's what we think of when we see red and green. A novelty print. So I'll just keep adding to the border, put lace behind it. And by the way, I don't use any expensive lace. I find lots of lace curtains at the thrift store, and they're so plentiful and so cheap. I just start cutting them in big squares. And that's what you see sticking out from, here's a good example. This whole thing has a cream colored curtain lace on it, and then I sewed the pocket on that. So you get the fringes of the lace sticking out. This piece is a piece of an old curtain. This is lace seam binding, and these two are actual laces. Little piece of gauze right there, little piece of tulle, anything you've got. Any kind of fiber will work. So my sister said, what are you going to do with these? They're so cute, but what are you going to do with them? I said, I have no idea. But through the years, I've come up with several ways to maximize my effort. By the way, did you see this cute little thing? If God wanted me to cook and clean, he wouldn't have made me so creative. I saw that on Pinterest. I just had to make myself one. Don't we all feel like that? So these are large envelopes. I don't know where, at the thrift store. And I just laid my puffies on the scanning screen, you know, on the printer, copier. And then I finagled and realized how to run them through. So they ended up at the place on the envelope that I wanted. And I don't have any big fancy schmancy printer, but I still get a fairly decent print. And I can even add to that if I want to. This can end up being a page in a journal, or I can send something through the mail in it, or put another small gift inside. Or what would be fun is if you want to, excuse me, if you want to give the puffy as a gift, to also have the picture of the same puffy on the envelope. So here's a couple of those. See, the red didn't come out as bright as I would have liked, but it is what it is. With this little butterfly, flutter by. Okay, the rooster and the other rooster. So that looks pretty nice. So that's one idea. You could also print them off on stationery. You could scan them and resize them. I happen to want them big because this was a big envelope. But let me show you some other ways that I've used